Okay, so everyone is talking about getting rich with AI, right? But most of it just feels like hype. A lot of talk, not a lot of action. Well, today, we're going to change that. We are going to break down a real plan to turn this AI revolution into actual hard cash by shifting from just working harder to working smarter. Let's get into it.
So here's the game plan for today. First, we're going to completely bust the myth of passive income so you can see what you really should be aiming for. Then, we'll talk about the real secret weapon, leverage. From there, we'll see why AI is pretty much the biggest opportunity of our lifetime, and I'll even give you a practical blueprint for starting your own AI business for just $1,000. And we'll wrap it all up with a one mindset shift you absolutely have to make to win.
All right, let's kick things off with the big one, passive income. You know the dream, right? Making money in your sleep. It's what every online guru sells you. But here's the thing they don't tell you. Is it the right place to start?
I love this because it's the perfect way to think about it. Passive income is the financial Olympics. It's the gold medal, no doubt. But you don't just wake up one day and decide to compete in the Olympics. That's not how it works. For 99% of people, it's a totally unrealistic starting point. It's the destination, not the first step on the journey. And this really gets to the heart of it. Before you can live the dream, you have to get your hands dirty with the reality. And that reality is something called sweaty income. It's the active, messy, sometimes ugly work that you have to do up front. That's what builds the foundation. If you try to skip this step, passive income is always going to be just a dream. So, if passive income isn't where you start, then what is? The real goal, the thing you should be focused on, is a much more powerful idea. Leverage. This isn't about working less. It's about making the work you're already doing produce way more results. And that right there, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? If you're already working hard, how do you multiply your results without just completely burning out? Well, the answer is all about finding and using leverage. And this is the perfect way to understand it. Let's say you shovel snow for a living. At first, you're out there with a shovel, doing it by hand. That's your sweaty, active income. But you're smart about it. You don't spend every dollar you make. You save up those shekels. And what do? You buy a snowblower. All of a sudden, you can clear 3 driveways in the same time it used to take you to do 1. Your income just tripled, but your hours didn't. That, my friends, is leverage. And really, there are 2 main ways to get that leverage. First, you can invest in equipment. That's your snowblower. Or second, you can invest in skills. Think about a phlebotomist, the person who draws your blood. With just a few weeks of training, they can go from making minimum wage to 2, even 3 times that. Both are incredible ways to leverage that initial sweaty income into something much bigger. Okay, so if equipment and skills are how you get leverage, well, right now, today, we have access to the single greatest snowblower and skill multiplier in human history. And you know what I'm talking about. It's artificial intelligence. This analogy is just perfect. When electricity was invented, yeah, building power stations was a good business. But the real money, the explosion of wealth, came from all the things people invented to plug into the grid. Toasters, light bulbs, vacuums, you name it. AI is the new electricity. And the massive, wide-open opportunity right now is to build the new toasters. And if you want to know exactly where that opportunity is, just look at these numbers. It's actually kind of insane. You've got 77% of small businesses saying AI is going to be crucial for them. But get this, only 5% are actually using it. That gigantic gap right there between knowing you need it and actually doing it, that's your entire business plan. So how do you step into that gap? Here's the cool part. It's not about being the person with the highest IQ anymore. AI is kind of leveling the playing field. The new superpower, the key trait for success, is being what's called a high agency person. And that's just a fancy way of saying you're someone who gets things done. You're someone who can take these incredible new AI tools and act like a general, commanding a digital army to go solve problems. Okay, this all sounds great in theory, but let's make it real. How do you actually do this? Let's get super practical and walk through a blueprint for launching your own AI business for less than $1,000. And yeah, you heard me right, $1,000. We are not talking about needing some huge venture capital investment here. A G-Note is more than enough to get the ball rolling. And honestly, most of that is just going to be for playing around, learning the tools, and running a few cheap ads to find that first client. So here it is, the 4-step model. And it is beautiful because it's so simple. First, find a simple but painful problem. The example of email list activation is perfect. So many local businesses are just sitting on a goldmine of customer emails and doing nothing with them. Second, you make them an offer they can't refuse, a totally no-risk offer. Third, you learn what's called vibe coding, which is really just talking to the AI in plain English. And fourth, you launch a few cheap local ads to find those clients.
This right here, this is the magic line. This is the secret sauce. Can you imagine walking into a local restaurant or a dentist's office and saying this to the owner? You just took all of their risk off the table. They don't pay you a single dime unless you actually make them more money. For a small business owner who's nervous about new technology, that is an absolutely irresistible offer. You're not selling them some complicated service, you're selling them results, pure and simple. All right, we have the strategy, we've got the tools, but I'm going to be honest with you, none of it matters, not a single bit of it if you don't have the right mindset. This might actually be the most important part of this whole thing. Look, we're all told, follow your passion. And that sounds great, but let's be real. The chances that the thing you're passionate about is also going to be wildly profitable on day one are slim to none. The much smarter move? Follow the profit first. Use that profit to build a solid financial base, to get some wins under your belt, and to create real freedom. Profit is what buys you the ticket to go pursue your passion later, on your own terms. So what's the passion you start with? It's the passion for the game itself. Fall in love with business. Fall in love with commerce. Get obsessed with that simple, beautiful art of turning $1 into $2. If you can make that your passion, you can build a successful business in pretty much any industry you want. And so we'll wrap up with this thought. We are living in a time where the old rules just don't apply anymore. The cost to start a business is crashing to zero, and the tools we have to create leverage are more powerful than anything in history. So the question that will define your success is no longer what's your IQ. It's all about your drive, your will, your ability to just get things done. The real question is, are you ready to be a high agency person?